Welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Today we'll have discussions about soccer, tennis, and baseball, and we'll have the principal from Carver Middle School tell us about what athletics means to middle school student athletes. Join us in a minute. Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and I have a special guest today from Carver Middle School, the principal, Elton Sykes. And Elton, welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I'm glad
Pleasure.
you're here. We try to have a principal every other week to talk about your perception of what athletics does for your school culture. So let's talk a little bit about Carver and what a rich tradition in middle school athletics.
Absolutely. So I think with Carver Middle School, it's really about a school of excellence, and not only being excellent in the classroom, but being excellent in any sport or any activity that we're doing. So I've been the principal now. This is my second year there, and we've had some success in football and basketball, winning city championships. So just continuing that tradition.
You know, we made a monumental move here about a year ago when Booker T and Carver joined the Frontier Valley Conference. And it was done so because we felt that if we were going to go to the next level and send student athletes to the feeder, Booker T, they needed to play that level of competition every week. How's that been for your student athletes and for your school?
I think it's been really exciting for our kids because, one, it has expanded the amount of kids that can actually participate. So, for example, in basketball, instead of having 2 teams, we had 4 because we had some teams participate in TPS and some teams participate in Frontier Valley. So that gave more kids an opportunity to play. But I think that the kids have enjoyed it, the competition, the level of competition. So it's so far so good.
Well, as we look at the future, I know you have some plans and you have a lot of support with your support groups there for adding programs. So what are you looking at there?
Yeah, so this year we've brought back track. Haven't had track at Carver for at least, I think, the last 8 years or so. It's been the last time they had a track team. We have 64 kids on the track team this year that have come out. So that's really exciting. We're wanting to hopefully be able to add baseball. Right now, TPS has added soccer, so we're really trying to expand the opportunities our kids have, because I think that's one way to attract students to come to our school. It's not just academics; it's what's the whole student experience kids can enjoy, and that athletics is a big part of that.
I think that's the total education of the students, whether they're participants or whether they're spectators, to be a part of that school culture and root for your fellow classmates and everything, to be a part of what it means to be a Carver Wildcat. I think that's really, really important. So as we look to the future, what are some of the important things you think that you're going to achieve at Carver over the next 2 or 3 years?
Well, we want to continue to expand opportunities for kids as far as athletic-wise. We would love to, our basketball court is going to be redone here hopefully in the next couple of months or so. We hope that the turf is done too at the school. And then really trying to, hopefully in the next bond or issues like that, as we look forward, how can we continue to expand opportunities at the school to get some spaces for students so that we can practice and participate on Carver's campus.
What's your enrollment?
Right now we have over 650 students. Our max is 675, so.
So you're close.
We're close, yeah. And that's another good point, Gil, that over the last 2 years that I've been there, we have expanded how many students we've accepted in order to try to attract more people, but also get teachers.
Right, exactly. So do you think that you'll be able to get above 700 and keep moving if you had facilities available?
If we had the facilities available, yes. I do think that we could get over 700 students and kind of stay there.
That'd be good. That's a good number. From an athletic standpoint, what do you think it has been a positive or a negative to having the two teams play in different leagues and so on?
I think overall it's been a positive. I think hopefully some things we can work out on just the scheduling. I think like for a principal who has to try to go to these different events and try to support everybody, that is difficult. But I think that so far overall it's been positive. I think it's also opened us, attracted even people to want to come and work and help us that probably didn't necessarily know that much about the school or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's been good.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to get people from other parts of the city into our facilities and to compete with our kids and meet our principals and our teachers and our student athletes. I think that's an important part of it too. So as we wrap up here, we got about 30 seconds. What kind of message do you want to send about Carver to the city of Tulsa?
Well, Carver, like I said, is we're moving from stronger to stronger in athletics, in academics, and in our culture. And so if you're interested in maybe sending your child to Carver, check our website, carver.tulsaschools.org, and you can find out all about what Carver stands for and means, and I hope you can join us in the fall.
Outstanding. Elton, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
And when we come back, we're going to have Amaya Owens, who is the head girls soccer coach at Webster High School.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to tulsarefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. tulsarefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
My dad's always saying a little extra effort now will really pay off later. Here's how you can put in just a little extra effort and help out our schools in a big way. Just switch your checking account to TTCU. It's easy, and every time you use your school pride card, TTCU donates to our schools. So far, over $1 million. They're the only ones doing that. So make the switch to TTCU and be the person who's making a difference for our schools.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and our special guest is Amaya Owens, who's the head girls soccer coach at Webster High School. And welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics, Amaya.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was born and raised in Tulsa and went to Wright Christian Academy, a small private school here, and then I went on to Oral Roberts University. And I graduated with a degree in physical education, so I teach PE here and at Webster. And I coached for a couple years for Broken Arrow Soccer before I came to Webster and started coaching here. My first year, last year, I was the assistant coach under Derek Phillips. Mm-hmm. And this year, I've got the pleasure of being the head coach for the girls. Yeah, so learned a lot last year and trying to improve this year.
Well, I'm sure you will. How many girls do you have out for the team?
We have a wait list. We have 24 girls, so we can only suit up 22 a game, and then, you know, we kind of rotate those girls in. Some girls have to be the manager or water girl, that girl, and carry the balls, and then so we've got a lot of interest. I'm really excited about it.
Well, that's good, and you have a lot of underclassmen, you told me.
Yes, yeah, over half our team, and even our goalie. This is her first time ever playing, and
really?
Yes, Medeja Graves. She's awesome. She's doing a really great job for us.
Do you have a lot of girls that have not played at all?
Yes, yes. All those girls that are new have never played soccer before except one. So, but they're doing a great job.
Are you going to be able to get the Webster Middle School program where you have a feeder coming through there?
Yes, that's actually been a really great thing. Our goalie I mentioned is a senior, and usually I'd be like, oh, you know, I don't know about her first time having a senior learn, but I'm really excited about a girl that's moving up from our middle school. She's played goalie before. She has a lot of experience, so I'm excited about that. So she'll be with us transitioning into high school next year.
So you have district play, and have you gotten into your district play yet?
Yes, we have 4 more district games coming up. Today we play Oologah away, and then we're looking forward to hopefully we can pull out a win against Commerce. Maybe that's kind of our district's a hard district for us, so we kind of look forward to that game and hoping we can play a little extra tough.
I see.
Yep.
Who is the team to beat in your district? You think will win the district championship?
Oh gosh, I don't know. There's so many good teams. Yeah, I think Oologah is a great team. Claremont-Sequoia is a great team. They've done really well.
They have, and they've played for a long time
Yeah.
and everything, so that makes a lot of difference. So, in your role as the head coach, having been the assistant coach last year, how's that changed for you this spring?
A little more stress. I didn't realize all the things that Coach Phillips was doing behind the scenes when he was just telling me to get the girls on the bus and get them going. So there's more to it, but it's been a good experience. I've really liked it.
So, why did you get into coaching?
I love sports. That to me is, I just believe so much in girls athletics and building strength in girls and confidence through sports. So to me, that's a big reason. And I love that about Webster, that they may not be the best athletic girls right now. They're building, they're doing a great job. But I love seeing them just improve in confidence, and it gives them a go-to that they'll use their whole life, all that character and their academics. Our girls are outstanding week after week. They're all eligible, and I'm just so proud of them. That
is something to be proud of. I think sometimes we forget that these student athletes have to pass every class every week in order to be able to play. I think it's important that we emphasize girls athletics. I was fortunate. My firstborn was a girl.
Yeah.
And she was into it immediately. And matter of fact, I was telling Connor Whitham, the head boys coach over at East Central today, I met one of my best friends at a six and under girls soccer match in February of 1977 in the sleet and snow. And I'm thinking, what am I doing out here watching these two little girls play soccer? But having had that, and Tulsa did not start girls athletics until 1977. Had no girls, they had a few girls programs at different places, but as a program they didn't have it. And so one of the things that we've kind of been behind the 8 ball on in our Hall of Fame is that we don't have that many women in, because we don't have a history. We had 100 years of men, but the women. So we really want to try to emphasize our girls program. I think it's important. And like you say, the things that they learn and from the discipline and the teamwork and everything certainly carry over into life and so on. So looking forward to next year, you'll have another new team and a bunch of young kids. What do you think about that?
We actually have 2 seniors this year. So I'll have a big group coming in, and they will have, this year under their belt, and half of them are returners even from last year. So I'm hoping next year they can really build on what we've started this year with our new girls, and those vets will hopefully shine next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
We're glad you're here, and come back with us, and we'll have Connor Whitham, the head boys soccer coach at East Central.
Hi, I'm Tony Dillingham, Athletic Director for Jenks Public Schools. The first annual Oklahoma Athletic Directors Conference is the must-attend event for every Oklahoma high school athletic director. Join us June 10th and 11th at the Cox Convention Center in downtown Oklahoma City. The 2-day conference will feature breakout sessions covering law, staff development, fundraising, social media, and many other areas that are sure to improve your effectiveness as a key administrator in your district. The OADC will also be a great place to network with key people in our industry regarding the latest issues and trends in Oklahoma athletics. Conference registration is now open, so visit OklahomaOIAAA.com for conference registration, hotel information, and details about the conference. Don't wait. Make your reservation today.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and we have a real special guest today, the head boys soccer coach at East Central, Connor Whitham. And Connor's had a lot of success, and let's talk about East Central soccer.
Yeah, so I've been the head coach for 2 years. This is my 3rd year as a head coach. My first 2 years, we've been to 2 state championship games. Previously, when I was the assistant, we went to the semifinals. So we've been to 6 semifinals in a row, two state championship games, falling a little bit short. But we've had success for a long time. Even as far back when I went to East Central, we were successful as well. So we're just trying to build the program and just give the kids somewhere an outlet so they can express themselves on the field and help them in the classroom as well.
Who are some of your really good players?
So I have a kid right now. He's a junior. His name's Hector Demas. Just got a motor on him. Just works and works and works and works. And he just does whatever the team asks him to do. He's played in 3 or 4 different positions this year and just continues to just do what's asked of him. He leads the team as a junior. He does well in the classroom and just really picks it up for us. And then another guy, we have Eric Crum, who's actually the starting quarterback for the football team. He's played soccer for us for 4 years. And he is just another guy that will just do whatever is asked of the team. He works super hard. Maybe not the most talented kid, but has some good ball skill, and he just works and will do really coachable, just whatever you ask him to do, he'll do.
Well, so you have good numbers?
Yeah, and so we're at 35 guys on the team right now. Had about 70 guys come and try out for the program. But naturally, when it's just me and one assistant, you can only take so many. You can only manage so many kids, and so would love to have more. You know, maybe get a third team going. But 37 is manageable, sort of.
So do you have a JV program?
Yes, we have a JV program. That program is playing 14 games this year. And our varsity program will play, I think 17 was the total, with preseason, and just try to get them as many games as possible. And some guys who maybe are on the varsity team who aren't getting a lot of game time, we'll put them on JV and let them get 30 minutes of time. And so we have a good relationship with the two, working together to try to get as many guys as much game as possible so that we can continue to have a good program.
Sure. So, we've had spring break and you've been off a little bit, and we've had some really interesting weather as well. How has that affected your training up to this point?
So, I tell the guys that we'll play in the weather, so we train in the weather. And so in February and January, those cold days, we were training. And now the weather's getting a little bit better, but we played our first 3 or 4 games in just terribly cold weather. But our guys were ready for it, and now the weather's starting to get better. And I think that will really, one, it'll help our guys to play better, because it's really difficult to play soccer in cold weather. But 2, since we've been training in that cold weather, when the weather gets good, now they're good. They'll feel better, and it'll be easier for them to play.
So you're into your district matches now?
Yeah, so we start district play tomorrow. We go to Claremore for our first district game. We've played our 5 regular season games, which really, at the end of the day, don't mean a whole lot because they don't affect your playoff seeding or anything like that. And so we're getting into district play, and hopefully we're getting kind of in an upswing, so our form will get better as the district play rolls on.
Do you see that changing at the OSSA level, where district play becomes a qualifying part of that?
I like that, our district play is, it's kind of like football. It's set up the same way. I like that way it is because you have those 7 games, and they're the most important games. And I really like having the 5 regular season games that don't affect your playoffs because, we lost 2 of those games to Sand Springs and to Broken Arrow, but like I told the guys, it doesn't hurt us. No. We just learned a lot. Their 6A schools are a lot bigger than us. We learned a lot, and that gets us better and ready for our district play, those 7 matches that really matter.
Well, it is always better to try to play up,
yeah.
Where you have teams that have more depth and so on, and in a higher class, because their competition is going to be tough every week, as it is in 5A.
Yeah.
5A soccer is no slouch.
No, it's not. One of the things that I'm proud of just at TPS is, I think, in last year, I think every single men's or every single boys program but one made the playoffs. It just shows the strength that we have in TPS, not just at East Central, but at all of the schools, where all the schools are able to make the playoffs and maybe win a game or just compete in the playoffs. And that's good for not only just TPS, but it's good for us as well because we play against those schools as well.
Oh, I agree totally. I think we want success across the board, because that does make everybody feel better about what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish in the athletics program. And I think our coaches do a great job with the programs and so on. So tell me where you think you're going to end up with your district and your playoff hopes.
So obviously our goal is to win our district. We've won the district for the last 6 years, whatever the district's been, we've won it. So the goal is to win the district, because then you host playoff games and you get to avoid some teams that you don't want to play. But we've got a really good district. Rogers is in our district. That's another TPS school. And Hale's in our district. They made the playoffs last year. Booker T's in our district. They made the playoffs last year. Because out of our district, it was all the TPS schools made the playoffs. And so we're looking at a hard district. And all the games will be close games, because a lot of these kids, they grew up together because they're all TPS kids. And so we're looking at a really hard district. But I think that if we play our best soccer and if we start peaking at the right time, that we'll be able to win our district. And then, you know, you get into the playoffs and you never know what can happen. Of course, we want to make it to the finals and have a chance to win it again, but we're just trying to start tomorrow with Claremore and see where we go from there.
Well, you take them one at a time, and, you know, that's what they always say. You get to the playoffs, it's that player that you didn't count on that plays better than they thought they could that makes the difference in the playoffs. You know the good players are going to play and the bad players are not going to play very well, but it's that one kid, and that's what coaching is all about, is to make that happen.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate you being here today, and when we come back, we're going to have Chase Jestice, the head baseball coach at Memorial High School.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and our guest now is Chase Jestice, the head baseball coach at Memorial High School. And boy, Chase, I tell you what, this weather has been a challenge for outdoor sports.
Oh my goodness. We had 6 scrimmages. We only got 2 of them in. One scrimmage was against Rogers, and it was inside our indoor facility where it's just a pitcher, a batter, and a catcher. And I mean, you got to get them in at some point, and you got to see live pitching. So we found a way for both teams to get some work in that day. But it was freezing cold, and our field, I think, was frozen over. I know theirs was. And challenge to say the least. We've had to reschedule our Coweta series, which we've already played, but we had to reschedule it for a doubleheader at their place. Last week we were in the Vertigers tournament. We weren't able to play the last game of the tournament, the place game, due to weather. And this week, today actually, we had to reschedule the Claremore game for Wednesday. So we're playing them Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Was your home game tonight?
Yes. No, actually it was at their place.
Okay.
Tomorrow is at our place.
All right, so you'll play Tuesday at Memorial and then Wednesday at Claremore.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good. Well, you know, you've got a great field. You know, we were talking earlier. I played on that field in the spring of 1964, and the reason we liked to play out there was because we had that short right center field fence. You know, because it was not that far from home plate, but over the years, the baseball coaches, it seems, have done a really good job of keeping that field maintained.
Yeah, we've taken an enormous amount of pride in how the field looks, and last year, actually, I think was probably about the worst year for that field. We had a little snafu with getting dirt on it, and we couldn't ever get it leveled back out. But our booster club, we fundraise a lot. And our booster club, after the season, we had some money left over, so we were able to hire a leveling company to come in and fix our dirt and fix our infield grass area as best as, you know, what we could afford. But it's 10 times better this year. And, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm not having to go to coaches and say, hey, tell your third baseman to watch out. This is a little bumpy over here. But yeah, we take an enormous amount of pride in what the field looks like.
Well, you know, and it's the 7 years that I've been at Tulsa, the Memorial Booster Club for soccer, for baseball has been really, really active and been involved, and we need that district-wide in all of our programs through every of the 9 high schools. It's important that we do have that additional help. So as you look at the season. You have basically your district ahead of you to play in April. You're going to have to cram that in there. So how does that look with the student athletes that you have involved?
Being perfectly honest, it's going to be tough. Our district is tough. I mean, I mentioned Coweta. They're always good. Claremore coming up was supposed to be today and tomorrow is very good. I know Booker T. They're always solid. It's going to really depend on our pitching. Can our pitching hold up? I mean, I know that's what everybody says, but it's been very, very true for us this year.
So who are some of the players that you're going to depend on to help you get through the district?
Well, mentioning pitching, our number 1 left-hander, Eli Harp, his ERA doesn't reflect how well he's done this year. We've got a lot of young guys behind him that haven't played much baseball except for this year and maybe last year on some of the sophomores. But those guys work hard, and they're doing their absolute best for him. But Eli is getting looked at by, 3 or 4 colleges right now. He's got 2 or 3 offers. He's actually got a visit and a bullpen scheduled at NOC Tonkawa coming up, I believe, Friday. But Eli is he's a hard worker. He's really become a student of the mechanics, a student of the workout regimen that needs to be done to be a successful baseball player. Offensively, our big hitter is Matthew Weber, who is a transfer actually from Metro Christian. And right now he's hitting right around the 500 mark through 8 games. And it's just lately has even taken off from there. He's been knocking the cover off the ball in the Verdigris tournament. He hit 2 just rockets that I know I wouldn't want to be in front of. Big kid. He's also going to go down to NOC Tonkawa with Eli, and they're gonna have Eli throw a bullpen, and Matthew's probably going to hit in their cage or maybe even get on their field and hit for him. And I imagine they're both going to come out of there with some pretty good scholarship offers.
Oh, that's good. That's great. It's always good to see those kids be able to matriculate beyond their high school year, and
that's the goal.
And get the opportunity to continue their education. So as you look forward to the future, knowing that we don't have feeder baseball programs in the junior high, where do you find your players?
Honestly, I try to send out emails where I'm allowed to send emails and give dates for tryouts. And right now, I just kind of hope somebody shows up. I mean, you're right. We don't have baseball feeders. That's an issue, I think. We need something. If it's just a couple of middle schools that play baseball or whatever, and they feed to everyone, that would be fantastic. I mean, but we need something where we can look out and go, okay, we've got some guys coming in. Because as of right now, I don't know, and I never know of who is going to show up to those tryouts.
I tell you, one of the things that has concerned me over the years, at one time Tulsa was one of the hotbeds for high school baseball.
Oh my goodness,
There were talent all over the city, talent in the suburbs, talent everywhere. But there was also a strong American Legion program, which has gone away. And there was a strong Connie Mack program, which has gone away. And a pony program, which has gone away.
And don't forget All-Star Sports
and
program.
All-Star Sports, and everything now has gone to travel teams and so on. And I think that is not in the best interest of student athletes, and it's not in the best interest of continuing to have baseball programs like they used to be. And I don't know what we can do about that, but we certainly will be working with our baseball coaches to think about summer leagues for middle school kids, where they can use our facilities, and they don't have to have uniforms and everything. They can come T-shirts and just play.
Right.
And teach them the fundamentals and have camps and those kind of things where our high school coaches can be involved with that. I think we've got to do some of that. Ultimately, looking at some point in time, because one of the conversations we've had earlier in the show today is enhancing our junior high programs. We're adding cross country and track hopefully next year in that program, and we want to add programs to keep, because I think as far as retention of students, we're better off to retain students in the earlier years, 7th and 8th grade, to keep them moving forward to the high school.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully we can be able to do that. So in the last 30 seconds, what do you want to tell me about Memorial Baseball for the rest of this year?
Put me on the spot here. I mean, our guys come out, we're going to practice today. They work extremely hard in practice. They're learning the games, they're learning the fundamentals, then they're learning even the deeper aspects of the game, thinking one pitch ahead. If the ball takes me this way, I'm going to flip to second and we're going to roll 2, but if the ball takes me this way, my only play is at first base, stuff like that, just thinking one pitch ahead. And our guys, I mean, like I said, we work like crazy all the time. Our booster club works like crazy all the time. We've got money. We're fixing to head to Tennessee in the next couple of weeks, April 11th through the 13th. We're going to play 4 quality Tennessee teams, and then we're going to come back and hopefully compete well with our remaining schedule.
Fantastic. Well, we're coming back now with one of your contemporaries, the head baseball coach at Will Rogers High School, Dustin White.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to tulsarefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. tulsarefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Our guest today is the head baseball coach at Will Rogers High School, Dustin White. Welcome, Dustin, to Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm from Tulsa. I went to school at Edison, played baseball for 4 years at Edison, then went on to Northern Oklahoma College in Tonkawa, Oklahoma, and played baseball, and finished my degree in horticulture from Oklahoma State University. Worked a few years in the industry, a horticulture industry, and then got back into coaching at Cushing High School and started coaching there. Was there for 4 years, and now I'm at Will Rogers.
Well, Will Rogers is a rebuilding program. You know, when they shut the school down and started all over again. Where do you think you are in that rebuilding?
We're still in the early stages. I wouldn't say it. I guess rebuilding is a good way to say it. I'm just trying to reclaim it, because they have a lot of history at Rogers, and there's a lot of people that loved Rogers baseball, and I'm just trying to get it back to where it was and have something the kids can be proud of.
You know, I'm one of those alums.
Are
I
you
played
really?
football and baseball at Rogers back in the day, and you're
I
right.
know, then there's a few strings to pull there.
The history is of baseball, of course, with Gordon Morgan, the infamous Gordon Morgan, who was a great friend of mine for many, many years. I can tell you a story. We played summer ball before they had all this college thing in Alaska and on the Cape Cod and all that. So I was playing on a town team with him and about 5 or 6 other guys who actually had played professional baseball. And we traveled all over Oklahoma playing teams called town teams. But Gordon was a tremendous talent and set a standard in baseball at Rogers that will be difficult to ever attain again. But so how many kids do you have out for the program?
Right now we're sitting at 17. We started with 19, and a couple of kids decided that they wanted to try other things or tried it out, and it really didn't fit their schedule. So we're pretty good at 17 though.
Who's some of your better players?
Well, I don't want to single anybody out, because I think they all work hard. I think the biggest thing I want to do is just create a culture of working hard, and nobody's better than the other person, because somebody might be better at hitting.
Sure.
Somebody might be better at throwing, and just being a better teammate. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to single anybody out as far as being the better players, but some of the players I want to bring attention to are a couple of our seniors. Ernesto Serna, who's a very hard-working kid. You'll see him in our infield and shortstop, second base, and then he's a major contributor on the mound, and as well as being one of the leaders on our team. And Jacob Morris, who's another senior on our team, who's been there for 4 years, been working hard. And he does just about anything we ask him to. So he's one of those players you like to have around that can. You ask if he wants to go or can be behind the plate, he's more than willing to try it out. So he's the kind of player I like to have. Somebody that's going to work hard and give you everything you got.
You got to have those. You got to have, have a good team.
Absolutely.
So have you been able to play much? The weather has been so erratic.
Let's see. We lost just a couple of games. We had to move our district games with Edison towards the end of April because they got rained out earlier in the year. But we've gotten 9 games in so far.
Oh,
so,
really? Well,
yes,
that's good.
9 games, and then we have one this afternoon at Bishop Kelly,
and
Bishop Kelly's coming over tomorrow. So I think 3 games total, or actually 4, because Durant was supposed to come up for a district doubleheader. Mm-hmm. So we've rescheduled all those. We'll get those back.
Whose team to beat in your district?
Collinsville. Of course, if Tony Reeder said that, or knew I said that, he'd be a little miss with me. But Tony Reeder's, he's always got a great program. He's somebody I really look up to and try to model a program after. He's been there for years and has just he's got kids that can play baseball, and he knows how to coach them.
With your 15 underclassmen, future look pretty bright for Rogers baseball?
Yeah, it's looking great. We're actually getting a little heavier in our freshman class. We have 3 to 5 freshmen that are contributing at the varsity level out of needs and just because they have the talent to play and the want to, the desire. And I'm just trying to feed that desire, and hopefully they can continue to find some joy in it and continue to produce for us.
Oh, that'd be great. The field at Rogers, pretty good shape?
It's in okay shape right now. It takes a lot of work. I'm limited to what I can do out there, but we put in so much work. Our kids are out there all the time working hard on it. They take a lot of pride in the way it looks. So I'm always going to say that it could look better because that's just kind of person I am, especially coming from the horticulture industry. I always think it could be better, but I've gotten a lot of compliments towards me to me about how great the field looks, and I think that's a compliment to our program.
I think baseball coaches always want to take care of their fields.
Yes,
really
yeah. If there's one trait about baseball coach, they're always there. You can always find them at their field doing something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you were here today, and when you come back to join us, we'll have Lance Pilstrom, who's the head tennis boys and girls coach at Memorial.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
My dad's always saying a little extra effort now will really pay off later. Here's how you can put in just a little extra effort and help out our schools in a big way. Just switch your checking account to TTCU. It's easy, and every time you use your school pride card, TTCU donates to our schools. So far, over $1 million. They're the only ones doing that. So make the switch to TTCU and be the person who's making a difference for our schools.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. We have a guy who is really busy. He's the head boys and girls tennis coach as well as being the head cheer coach at Memorial High School, Lance Pilstrom. Lance, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gil.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into all these different activities.
Clifford Criddle. 17 years ago, he came up to me in a staff meeting and said, hey, I need a coach. I think you'd be great. And so that just started it. It was 17 years ago at Rogers. And I've coached softball, volleyball, pom, cheer, tennis, basketball. Coached basketball with Coach Hurst for a while.
Oh my goodness.
Loved that. And softball. So I've basically everything except for football.
That was probably a pretty good experience with Coach Hurst.
It was,
She was
yeah.
very successful.
I didn't know that much about basketball. And she said, that's exactly what I want. She said, because I know that you're going to go in there and do exactly what I want them to do, and you're not going to try to mess it up.
There you go. Excellent. Well, tell us about the tennis program at Memorial.
It is growing. I am so proud of my players. I have a strong group of seniors. I teach freshman English, and I'm always sort of pulling them in, saying, hey, you should think about tennis. You should try this. And I had a really good group of kids that actually believed me, and they've stuck with it. And this is going to be their senior year, and I'm really excited for them.
That's good. Which team would be stronger, the boys or the girls?
The boys is probably more consistent. The girls, I've got a couple of strong players, and I'm getting some freshmen that are coming in that are pretty decent. So I'm looking to build that team.
Well, talk about some of your players.
Abdullah Khan is my boys captain. He had never picked up a racket until he met me. And last spring at one of the all-city tournaments, we beat Jinx. And that wasn't supposed to happen, you know.
Oh, no.
And it's not often that a TPS coach gets to actually claim a win like that. So it's kind of nice. But he has been completely dedicated to the sport. He loves it, and he takes privates and drills with at La Fortune Tennis with Melissa and her team, and he's done that consistently for now 4 years.
Has that new complex, has that had an impact on your tennis program?
We are so lucky to have access to that facility, and it has had an impact because when we walk into those courts, they're our courts, it's our home courts, but it's such a beautiful facility that the kids sort of walk a little bit straighter and they have a little more pride.
Facilities, I think, make a lot of difference.
Yes.
The attitude, the culture that you build, the winning attitude with confidence, those kind of things are so important. So talk a little bit about your other role as the cheer coach, because that's a full-time job.
That started again at Rogers with Criddle. They needed somebody, and they said, you can do it. And I'm like, okay. My mom was a cheer coach, so I was sort of familiar with it. And I think coaching, you can really, any sport, you can learn the rules and all that, but coaching itself is a skill that not everybody has. And guiding, leading, directing, knowing when to push, knowing how to push just hard enough, how to pull back, it's a skill. And I watched so many good coaches, some great athletic directors, your office. And so I've really sort of been a sponge, and that's allowed me to sort of fit in wherever I'm needed. And I've been at Memorial coaching for 7 years now in the cheer squad. And it's a strong squad. I'm very proud. We get to go to state every year. Thank you, Bobby Allison and his team for making that happen for us. But it's just it's an honor to be called coach, and I never take that lightly.
I've always told people the best thing I was ever called, aside from Dad, was coach. Because so many people that you have an opportunity to come in contact with through your life. I still have a young man. I say young man, he's retired and I'm not. That I coached in college, and he emails me about every other day about something that's going on in his life and everything now that he's retired and so on. I think you don't realize the impact that you have on kids. I tell young coaches all the time, be very careful what you do and say, because those kids are hanging on every word that you have. Real quickly here toward the end of our segment here, how about the different divisions in cheerleading now that we have the game day and all that?
Well, at Memorial, we really are a sideline game day squad. I don't have a lot of all-stars. They don't come from a background of cheer. And so again, because like everything else, I say, hey, I'm begging them to try this. And so we're more of a game day squad. And with the game day competition, what it does is allows us to showcase what we already do. They're not we're not spending thousands of dollars for choreography. We're taking what we already do to our competition.
Oh, great. Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
And come back in a moment after these words from our sponsors, and we'll have the Assistant Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Mick Wilson.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to tulsarefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. tulsarefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Hi, I'm Tony Dillingham, Athletic Director for Jenks Public Schools. The first annual Oklahoma Athletic Directors Conference is the must-attend event for every Oklahoma high school athletic director. Join us June 10th and 11th at the Cox Convention Center in downtown Oklahoma City. The two-day conference will feature breakout sessions covering law, staff development, fundraising, social media, and many other areas that are sure to improve your effectiveness as a key administrator in your district. The OADC will also be a great place to network with key people in our industry regarding the latest issues and trends in Oklahoma athletics. Conference registration is now open, so visit OklahomaOIAAA.com for conference registration, hotel information, and details about the conference. Don't wait. Make your reservation today.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to tulsarefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. tulsarefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and we have my colleague and good friend and the Assistant Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Mick Wilson. And Mick, we don't want to belabor this, but let's talk about our just past basketball season.
Well, I tell you what, we couldn't have been more pleased. Really looking back now and kind of doing some reflecting time, that really pleased with our boys. But again, really, I'm probably even just equally excited, even though we won a couple of state championships in the boys. And some of that was maybe a little expected. We knew that they'd worked hard and put the time in, and we're going to have some success on the boys' side. But I was equally pleased with our girls. I really think our girls' basketball in Tulsa Public, it's time to step forward and continue to get better. And I think we're able to do that in the postseason.
You know, we had some teams, that played pretty well.
We did. You know, I really. Of course, you traditionally look and you see East Central girls and the Booker T. Washington girls that are able to make late season surges and play really well. But, you know, the Rogers girls played well, obviously making to the state tournament, and really probably, at one point in the quarterfinals had the team down 14 points with a chance to get into the semifinals. And to me, watching the rest of the tournament play out, they were probably just as good as some of the teams we saw there. And then to see that our Edison girls are continuing to get better, and excited about what we're getting ready to, entail with the Memorial Girls basketball and be able to hire a new basketball coach over there. I think we're going to really be able to ratchet up our girls basketball. But that's really kind of something I'm looking forward to next year, that I want to really see our girls basketball continue to improve.
And I agree. I think the girls coaches have improved, and I think the level of competition is better. And of course, it was good enough for Rogers to get an invite to the Tournament of Champions.
Absolutely, and I think Carlin Adkism has done a good job of building the program and staying true to what they have going on there at Rogers, which is a good thing. And he's been able to bring a lot of those girls all the way from 6th and 7th grade up through the feeder system and be able to develop those girls without really having to rely a lot on a ton of transfers or move-ins or things like that. So he's really rolled up his sleeve and really worked hard at that. And I think he's starting to see the fruits of his labor, so to speak, as he moves the Rogers basketball girls forward.
As we know, that's the essence of building a program. You build it in the younger kids, and they come through and want to be a part of being a part of the Lady Ropers program. I think
as we've continued, Gil, to try to push people to get into their feeder systems, just with what we're going through now with this, with the new emerging Monroe middle school, and be able to feed McLean and do some things there. I think we're going to see, hopefully we're going to see more of this start to happen. Coaches getting involved in their middle schools, much what you see in a lot of the outlying districts.
Right.
Being there on a day-to-day basis and having a hands-on approach with your junior high program is essential. I mean, it has to happen. Those kids need to know who the high school coaches are. The high school coaches need to know who the junior high kids are, and it helps those kids transition into high school years and be more successful, and really not only be good on the court, but also, socially develop and have some contacts and really gain some confidence in the classroom academically as well.
That's one of the things that we had Elton Sykes on, the principal from Carver, today. And one of the questions I had for him, I said, what do you think athletics does to the culture of your school? And he said, well, it's an integral part of the total education of the student, whether it's a student athlete that plays in the game or if the student that goes to the games, it's a part of that. And of course, the trial that we had with them moving into the Frontier Valley Conference, he said, was really a difference maker for them. But also having the availability of being able to play in the green country, they were playing twice as many kids in basketball. Instead of having a boys and girls team, they had 2 boys and 2 girls teams. And
what a great opportunity for those kids athletically. I mean, really to be able to attend a school that's so highly academic oriented, but then yet have some of the experiences in basketball, football, and some of the other sports, soccer, and be able to experience some real success and really probably kind of spread their wings, so to speak, away from not so much Tulsa Public, but just get a good experience with all schools throughout the area, not just ours.
And I think it was important to have those schools come into our facilities and see that what our taxpayers have done with bond issues and everything. There's the Booker T Gymnasium, obviously the Harris Fieldhouse is next to none. And when we finish with the Carver redo this spring and summer, people are really going to be excited about that facility.
I love looking at the diagrams and the sketch or the drawings. It's going to be really nice. I know Elton is excited about that. But again, it's just something that our volleyball teams and our basketball teams there at Carver are going to really get to experience. But all across the board, just really pleased basketball-wise with where we're headed. Junior high basketball season was a huge success again. Our playoff system and the thing that we do, our end of the season tournament, is really exciting. And again, a huge turnout there at the final game.
Oh, huge crowds.
Huge crowds, yeah. And you know, it helps us financially some there at the district office, be able to put some money back and help some folks when they need help. And it's just basketball right now seems to be our hot commodity, and we need to continue to build on that and really try to develop it and give our kids a great experience.
I think you always emphasize the things that make you great, and I think basketball's made us great. We're going to be back after these 1-minute messages with Mick, and we're going to talk about an up-and-coming event, the Golf Classic.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue with Mick Wilson, the Assistant Director of Athletics, and we have an upcoming event here, always the first Friday in June. Tell us about our Golf Classic.
Well, it's going to be another great year of fun. And, you know, really, Gil, I look back, and this will be our 21st year of having the athletic department golf tournament. And what a fun time. It's always a great time of fellowship. It's great to see some of the guys come back that you haven't seen in a year or two, maybe even longer. We have some of our great alumni folks come back and visit with us. We have some of the former coaches, plenty of former players, some of our corporate sponsors. It's just a great time for everyone to get together and to have some good times, play some good golf or some poor golf, whichever happens. You know, I always say that playing golf is kind of like your fish stories. It just seems to get better as you get older. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I think too, this is going to be an inaugural year of the Legends Foundation being the presenting sponsor of the golf tournament, and what that may do for us over the next few years financially, I think will be outstanding. But also, I think we'll be able to involve a lot of our former alumni, because I think that group is going to be inviting some of our Hall of Famers to come back and participate in the golf tournament and everything. So, and it's a good time to celebrate a year and kick off the new year.
It is. Again, we had John Phillips came by the office the other day and just wanted to take a look at the Hall of Fame. And I think what he really wanted to do was see his plaque on the wall. And I assured him that it was on the wall, and I pointed it out. But John, the first thing he asked is about the golf tournament, obviously excited and wanting to bring some people back and spread the word. And I think with our Legends Foundation, I think those folks are going to do a great job of helping us make that thing even better. Because I'm by no means a golf tournament expert. I enjoy it and like to do it, but I think we can make it even better. I think we've got the potential to have some more growth there. And again, looking at the first Friday there, which is the 7th of June, we will probably have registration from 11 to 12, have our lunch at noon, and then do a shotgun start at 1.
1 o'clock.
And of course, our friends out at La Fortune Golf Course, Pat McCrate and all his friends, Jason Mink, and those guys all do such a fantastic job. And they're excited. I know we're going to go out and meet with them this week and lock down some final details. But those guys do such a great job. I can't brag on Pat enough of what a community-minded person that he is, and how he supports Tulsa Public Schools, and really just about every endeavor in Tulsa County, golf-wise, he's involved in. So he's just a great advocate, not only of our district, but for kids in general.
Well, I think they do such a great job. I've put in these golf tournaments all over the country in the different venues where I've worked. And when you can walk in and they've got everything ready, and you walk out and they've done all the scoring for you, the scorecards are already up there, the food's ready, it makes it a lot easier for us to be able to do what we do with the gifts and prizes and everything for our participants.
It's really a first-class event, and I'm not going to say that because we run it. Maybe a little bit, but from their side of it, I mean, it's really a first-class event. Those guys do a fantastic job, and they're just great people to be around. I enjoy spending the afternoon with those guys and work with them and picking their brain for ideas. And they've really been a big part of our success. It's real helpful and always willing to jump in and see what they can do to help us.
Well, it's grown. I mean, you know, this is the 21st, but we had to skip one that first year that we were here in the spring of 2012. We had a little transition that we were going through at that point and everything, so we skipped that one. But every year since that time, it's grown in the number of players.
You know, I know at the end of the year last year, Gil, we talked about, and we've done this even with Kathy Barkley and Kathy West. We've talked about what happens. Do we go to 2 flights? Do we have a morning flight? Do we have an afternoon flight? And those are good problems to have.
Absolutely.
And we may not be out of the woods this year with that. If I mean, our plans could change depending on the amount of registrations that come in here.
That's right.
Here in, you know, in the next couple of weeks, the next month or so. So we'll definitely take a look at that, but it's definitely not out of the question.
Well, be sure and register early so you can get in. That's important.
Absolutely. We'll be getting that information out soon, and we'll do some email blasts. And I know LaFortune will be doing some email blasts.
LaFortune's going to help us handle a lot of the entries and so on. We're working on the details, which will be out in our flyer and everything. Anything else going on that you might want to talk to us?
Well, I think that the golf tournament will get us headed in the right direction. But you know, talking to some of our baseball coaches, our spring baseball, excited about the opportunities to see where we land in district play with some of our baseball teams. I know that a few of the teams aren't as experienced as the others, but again, Booker T brings back some good pitchers and has a good chance to make a late run. But excited to see where we land with baseball, being a spring guy and enjoying baseball and liking to watch that. It'll be interesting to see where we end up.
Well, I'm kind of excited about track. Some of the numbers that I've heard early on from our track coaches that have been on the show and so on, and some of the student athletes that have opted now to run track at Booker T who did not last year. There's some pretty talented individuals there. So I think track-wise, and of course we know soccer, we're pretty solid in soccer. We had Connor Whitham on today, and he said, my goodness, you know, when you've got the level of soccer, 8 of the 9 schools qualified for the playoffs last year. That's an incredible when you have 8 out of 9 qualified.
It really is, and Connor does such a fantastic job, and you know, their numbers are so strong across the board. I'm telling you though, watch out. I think you're going to continue to see Tammy's influence, Tammy Altaffer. I think you're going to continue to see her influence at Central on the track team.
I agree.
Their teams have been so good the last few years, and she's a big part of that reason.
That's right.
And I think those kids will be a little extra motivated to run well for her.
I think they will this spring.
Yeah, and see some excitement there. So, you know, they've had several state qualifiers last year, including state champions. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do this spring.
Well, thank you for being with us today, Mick, and thank you, and we'll be back after these messages.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Thank you for watching Inside Tulsa Athletics as we talk about our student athletes and the various things that they're doing within the community. Tune in next week when you'll see us again on Inside Tulsa Athletics.